Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my stream. This is Creative Craving. Now, you may have noticed, well, you may have noticed by now, I've got a sprite sheet open. I've got the sprite sheet open here in Inkscape. I'm busy working on it a little bit, and the long story short is it's going to be pretty complicated to change. I at least got everything divided out how it is. You know, like the knight, for example, is in 3 pieces. If you look at the white knight, you've got different pieces. Basically, all the areas that aren't black have to be they're separated. Or yeah, all the areas that are black are separated. So that's why there are multiple pieces of the white ones. Anyway, we're not gonna mess with that right now. We're gonna leave that be. We're gonna get back to this. Today we're probably gonna fix this bug real quick. It won't take that long. And then we're gonna work on moves and just allow moving the pieces around. So basically, when you click on when you click on the piece, you should be able to move it and make a legal move, or even an illegal move. At this point, I'll accept illegal moves as well. You know, at some point, we need to have a back-end model, like we need to have a data model of which piece is where and what it's allowed to do and where it's allowed to go. We don't have that yet. And to be quite honest with you, I might never add it, because this game might be less about following the regulations and more about allowing the player to do what they want to do. So we'll see. I do want to quickly show, you know, I got frustrated with Inkscape and I tried making a Rust program to go through and modify the SVG to get it right, and that's taking a while. I don't think I want to cover it on stream just because I'm not even sure that might be a dead end. But anyway, all kinds of stuff going on in the background. In the meantime, let's see if we can get here and take care of the thing. All right, we still got it running. In fact, here it is. Okay, let's go ahead and flip those pieces around the other way. Where's cursor? There we go. All right, so it's very simple when we're doing, what's it called? Paint squares. Paint square. Okay, so in this function, we have here the color. If it's black, we use dark gray. If it's white, we use light gray. So we got this color is black. Now we're just going to rename this is white, and then we're going to do this. This is the exact opposite of what we did before, and you'll notice this should change color. Yep, there we go. And now this matches a real board. Yeah, so that way we got that fixed out of the way. I told you that'd be simple. I did forget to check my Git history though. Oh good, there weren't any stray changes lying around. Bug swap colors of, what do you call it? Board squares. There we go. Okay, so now about moving these pieces. I don't want to think about moving the white pieces just yet, and here's the reason. What I'm going to need to do with these white pieces is fill them in with color, I think. Let me talk about the black pieces first, and then we'll go into the white ones. I think for the black ones, I think it's going to be as simple as when you click in the canvas, it will check the color of what you clicked on. If it's either white or black, which in this case, that doesn't work, but if it's black, it knows you picked up a black piece, and it can figure out which piece is at that location. And then it lets you move it somewhere else. And then after we get that done, we're going to have to animate it as well. So that's the plan. Okay. This is going to be challenging. Honestly, it's going to be quite challenging. So let's start off by just looking at the page and thinking about life. So we got a canvas here. Let's open a new MDN canvas. I really don't. Okay, let's see. Canvas API, maybe. That's not really what I want. Okay, the canvas element. There we go. Okay, HTML canvas element with either canvas scripting API, blah, 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 attributes. Oh, you should provide alternative content in case the canvas doesn't render. Oh, let's do that right now. Let's go ahead and do that. Where's our canvas? Right here. Let's do it. Your browser isn't cool enough for chess. Sorry. Okay. Oopsie, we don't want to amend. We want to make a new commit. Add you know, this is enough for the user to know at least that it's not going to work for them, right? And there's not really a way to make that pleasant, so we may as well make have some fun with it. Okay, so oh, this is interesting. Okay, this actually covers the displayed size of the canvas can be changed using CSS, but if you do this, the image is scaled during rendering to fit, which can make the final graphics look distorted. Right, if you change the aspect ratio. It's better to specify your canvas dimensions by setting width and height. Actually, it's better to do both, and here's why. I had to move the microphone a little far from it. It's better to do both. Here's the reason. You want to set your canvas height to the right height so that when you're drawing inside the canvas, it's the right height. Like inside the canvas, regardless of the existence of the web or of HTML or of any website or any browser or anything, it should just do things in a way that's natural. And then in the browser, it should be scaled to fit in the UI where it should go. I think this advice is really too, it's not that it's wrong, it's too simplified. Even for our use case, right? We're not doing anything particularly complicated, right? But we either need to scale our images, like our images of pieces, we either need to scale that before putting it in the canvas, or we need to scale the canvas. But even if you ignore that, like it's not like we can scale our images in advance. Right? We can't just scale it one time on my developer machine and then have it work for all clients. No, because everyone's going to have a different size browser window. And one of the things we need to do, of course, is make it work on larger screens without doing this, right? Right now, it's just going by width only. We eventually want it to where it'll work with width or height and like go for whichever one's smaller. Which I'm hoping we can do with CSS, like tailwind classes and not. I just don't remember how to do it. I know I've done it. I've seen it done. Not with canvas involved, but I just don't remember the precise incantation. So we'll get to that later. For now, we'll just work on the fun part. So anyway, it is important to be able to do both correctly. But it does make sense if you're a beginner and you're just getting started. Like, yeah, just do width and height here. Don't try to use CSS because you might mess it up and not understand what's going wrong. Because you might blame your canvas for having a distorted aspect ratio when it's really your CSS. All right. The maximum size of a canvas depends on the browser. Usually it exceeds 10,000 pixels squared. Wow. Okay. iOS has significant limit. That makes sense. I like this. Off-screen canvas API. Yeah. The benefit is a worker thread can handle canvas rendering. Oh, so in other words, it doesn't cause latency for the application. I might do this for animations, actually. Because I could animate several frames in advance at the same time and then copy them over to the active canvas when it's appropriate. So like, just as an example, I probably won't do this, but like, say someone hovers over a pond. They haven't clicked on it yet, but they hover over it. But they might click on it. So what I might do is animate clicking on I might do the animation for clicking on the pond and lifting it up. Like if you click the pond, it probably should move a little bit to signal that you've selected it correctly. So something like that, I could render in an off-screen canvas preemptively, assuming the user's going to need it, and then when they click, I've already got the first few frames ready. That'd be a nice performance hack, which we are not going to use unless we need it, or unless we decide we want to impress people. But we need to get a basic working app first, right? But that's just a cool thing we could try down the road. Okay, so alternative content, we talked about that. Okay, we got this. I can't remember what my question was, but I see it's not answered here. Right, I wanted to learn more about using the canvas as an HTML element. I guess here's the tricky thing. I don't want the canvas API. Here we go, HTML canvas elements, what I want. Yeah, let's look at this. I want to know what it supports. Okay, it's an HTML element, so it supports all the things, right? Specifically, but specifically it has height, width. Okay, I don't really care about browser specific stuff. Instance methods. Capture stream. A real-time video capture of the canvas surface. Oh, that's cool. So you could like record your chess games by just hitting a button to start recording. Okay, that would be cool. Right, this returns the canvas API. To data URL. Okay, so basically just serializing the image. To blob. I'm pretty sure that this has something to do with data URLs. I think it's the raw thing with a... I don't know, whatever. Oh, it's creating a file object. Okay, got it. Transfer control to off-screen. Transfers control to an off-screen canvas object, either on the main thread or a worker. Oh. Interesting. Maybe... Oh, that would be interesting. What if you could use a worker thread for the main canvas? Just so you always have two threads for your site. One for user interaction, and the other for canvas stuff. That's interesting. Events. Context lost. Fired the browser text. The canvas system context has been lost. What does that mean? What does it mean to lose your context? All right, we'll look at that eventually. We'll get rid of that for now. Detects that the backing storage associated with the Canvas 2D context is lost. Driver crashes, application runs out of memory. Okay. By default, it will attempt to restore. Okay. Yeah, if fired, the user agent restores the backing storage for this. You can redraw, re-retrieve resources, and reinitialize the stage or context after receiving this event. This is probably something we should handle. So let's put that in our notes for later, because this is something that's going to happen sooner or later. General. Handle. Context restored events. Does that... What's wrong here? Oh yeah, it works. Okay, got it. We're just in reading view. Okay, fine. All we need to do is redraw everything from scratch. Well, let's just say all we need to do is mark everything as needing a redraw. Yeah. That's going to be really easy to handle, and we're not going to bother with it today. WebGL context creation here. I probably don't care about that right now. Context loss. What's this? A drawing buffer has been lost. I assume if it's restored, then we have to reinitialize the state of the app. Okay. Ditto for WebGL context restored. I don't want to copy that twice. There we go. Okay. Sim handler is fine. Of course, once we mark everything as dirty, it will automatically re-render because that's going to be relying on React for that. So that's all we really have to do there. Okay, so I'm not seeing any special events that are going to help me out. So let's just go up to HTML element and see if there's something there. I was hoping there was something clever that Canvas would do for me, but I guess I'm going to have to do this myself using the basic built-in stuff. Events, this is what I want to look for. Click events specifically. But let's look at the other events just to make sure we're not missing anything. Value of an input selector text area. Okay, so this doesn't apply. Command. I don't know what that's about. Error. Interesting. Load. When element or text selection is being dragged, I probably will need to use drag. Okay, so moves and counter moves. Yes, just like any other HTML elements. Let's go ahead and make, let's go ahead and make a today list, today. All right, first thing we need to do, well, one of the things we need to do, handle drag events. I'll have to look at all of these at some point. I'm not doing that right now. Before toggle. Okay, toggle. Oh, interesting that that's now part of the API. I didn't see click events there, actually. Did I miss it? I mean, I guess I could wrap the canvas in a clickable thing. Well, this is saying we can send a click event to it, but we can't. Wait a minute. I get it. Okay. When I looked at the canvas element, and I didn't see a click event there, my assumption was that the parent was handling that. When I look at the HTML element and it doesn't have a click event, I'm assuming those don't exist, but I probably should just look at the parent. Events. Yeah, lots of stuff here. Clipboard, composition, focus, there's a lot of them here. Full screen events, keyboard events, mouse events, yeah, okay. Also, I want to go ahead and get the I don't really need, well, maybe I will need this actually, maybe this will be useful. I don't necessarily need to have all this Moz stuff linked in here, but whatever. So we're going to work with clicked events, I think. Non-primary pointing device button. We don't care about that. We're just sticking with the left button for now. Oh, wait, I need to think harder. I need to think a little bit harder about this when you consider tablets a little bit. You know what? Handle touch events seamlessly with click event handler. Pointing device pressed and released. A pointing device is pressed and released when the pointer is inside the element. That's a click, not a drag. A touch gesture is performed on the element. Any user interactions equivalent to a click, such as pressing space key or enter. Oh, interesting. I didn't realize space key could trigger a click event. Note this only applies to elements with a default key event handler and therefore excludes other elements that have been made focusable by setting tab index. Okay, so in other words, the key event handler does this for you, and some of them have a default. Okay, probably things like buttons have a default key event handler, I would imagine. Okay. Excuse me. If the button is pressed on one element and the pointer is moved outside the element before the button is released, the event is fired on the most specific ancestor that contains both elements. Okay. Interesting. So if you drag an element into its sibling, the parent will get a click event. Okay. Click fires after both the mouse down and mouse up events have fired in that order. Mouse down and mouse up. Okay. So I actually, I guess I could handle drag events manually, couldn't I? I don't, I mean, that would be pretty easy to do. I probably need to just deal with drag. I don't know. Well, maybe not. 'Cause I don't know. We'll think about that later. This event is a device-independent event, meaning it can be activated by touch, keyboard, mouse, and any other mechanism. Right. Use the event name and methods. I think I'm going to add click event first, and then we'll deal with the dragging stuff separately. But presumably when you drag, it also fires mouse down and mouse up events. The difference being that it's synchronized differently. It's orchestrated differently. Okay, I haven't really dealt with drag and drop, to be honest. I've avoided that, but it can't be that hard. Okay, it's a pointer event, inherits from mouse event. I don't know if I need to know the difference between these. Event properties. In earlier versions, the event type for this event was called mouse event. Right, so pointer event has new stuff that mouse event doesn't. Interesting, the angle between the pointer or stylus and the XY plane of the screen. I didn't realize they could detect that. That's kind of cool. They could detect the angle of the thing. That's cool. A unique identifier for the pointer, the pointing device, okay. Like I can imagine multiple styluses, or the mouse and the stylus together. The width of the oh, that's interesting. The width of the contact geometry of the pointer. Huh. And pressure, the normalized pressure of the pointer input in the range 0 to 1. 0 and 1 are the maximum and minimum respectively. Tangential pressure. The normalized tangential pressure of the pointer input, also known as barrel pressure or cylinder stress. And I think this is how tightly someone's squeezing the pointing device. Interesting. Plane angle of the stylus. Tilt of the stylus. Okay, so twist, rotation of the pointer around this major axis. Apparently it has an orientation. The device type that caused the event. Mouse, pen, touch. Interesting. I could see wanting to handle different devices differently. And you know, I actually have a digital pen I can test with. Indicates if the pointer represents the primary pointer of this pointer type. Is primary. Okay. I don't need any of that. So the good news is I can just ignore this and just use mouse events, right? I can ignore pointer events. Those are all cool, but I don't need it. I'm not even going to put that in my list of things to handle later because I don't think I'll, like if I find a use for it, I'll find a use for it. Button that was pressed. Now here's a question. Does this handle only primary? Primary? I mean, huh. The button's being pressed, if any, when the mouse event was fired. Here's what I want to know. We have a click event, right? But we also have, let's look at our see also here. Auxiliary click. Let's look at when this was added. This is going to give us the best hint. It looks like a recent one. Let's compare that with this. See also browser compatibility. Yeah, Chrome version 1, Chrome version 12, version 6. Okay, yeah. So this aux click is a new thing. So that means that a normal click event is still going to have auxiliary click. So we do need to check. I think I just closed something important. Whatever. Okay. No, I didn't. In the mouse event, we do need to check whether it's primary or not, which button it is. Okay. And is this an enum of any kind? Not a good one. Okay. Let's go ahead and just put this into React. Is it not, or is it there already? It might be in TypeScript somewhere. But let's just go ahead and put this in here. Honestly, okay, let's look again at our file structure. Project structure, we got a component. This is kind of more basic than that, but I'm going to put it in the types anyway because I really don't have a good place to put it other than this for now. Type, oh yeah, export. Yeah. Button, no. Mouse button. We'll just call it that. Mouse button number. Oops. Primary equals 0. Auxiliary. Commas, I guess. Okay. Secondary. I love how secondary comes after auxiliary. Fourth, fifth. I love this naming scheme. We have primary, auxiliary, secondary. I guess the auxiliary is the middle button. Oh yeah, there we go. The wheel button or the middle button if present. Secondary is usually the right button. This is the order they go in. Although to be quite frank, this order doesn't make the most sense in terms of which the user is most likely to click. I know I got this wrong somehow. What's it say? It doesn't say. Just fix it. You know what I meant. Undo. Does TypeScript not offer enums? Okay. Yeah, it does. Well, I didn't do it wrong. This syntax is not allowed when erasable syntax only is enabled. Oh, well, that's very simple. Let's disable that. Yeah, I specifically don't want to erase this syntax. Oh, wait. Okay, I have to go look at my settings manually, I guess. Can I not just add a lint rule for this? Okay. Add a lint rule to allow this. That's perfect. I probably should edit my file, but we'll just keep this for now. And if I save, does this error go away? This might be just an issue with... Anyway, we have that there. It's available. We'll deal with that later. Mouse value. Okay, so... Yeah, get rid of this. Okay. The button's being pressed if any. Oh, there could be multiple. Which buttons are pressed on the mouse when a mouse event is triggered? I don't want to think about that. The X coordinate of the mouse pointer. Okay, in viewport coordinates. Oh. So we have to convert it. Yeah, okay, I figured it was going to be tricky, but I didn't know how tricky. So, how do mouse events work? Click event includes the button number and the coordinates. Wait a minute, we have multiple XYs. What about layer? Relative to the current layer. and the XY coordinate, I'll just call it location, relative to various things. Viewport, layer, whatever that is. Really just need to search for X, I guess. Relative to the position of the last event. Oh, we don't care about that. Offset. That's probably what we want. The padding edge of the target node. Yeah, I think I know what they mean. Offset from node. Okay. Page. Screen. And then this is X and Y are aliases for client. Client/viewport. Okay. Here's the one we care about. Nice that we won't have to calculate it ourselves. Okay, so. Yeah, that's all the ones we have. That's all we really need. We do want to have click and drag eventually, but right now I just want to focus on you click in one spot, you click on the other. Like, yeah, I don't know. Do I have solitaire? I don't. Okay. Like basically, you know, you click on the piece, you click where you want it to go, 2 clicks, and the thing will follow your mouse until you click again. That's the idea. I guess we're going to have to handle mouse move events as well, and also look at the offset for that, but we can handle that in a little bit. In fact, I'm not going to handle it right now for the first version. What I'm going to do is when you click on a piece, that piece will jump to a place we're going to animate later. We'll do an animation transition later, but it's going to jump. And then when you click on another piece, it's going to jump to there. We're just going to not worry about transitions at the moment or animations or following the mouse. We're just going to keep it super simple, right, and get a basic thing working. So, and then we're going to find out later how wrong it is, because I have a feeling that it's going to get really complicated to try to do that all in one component. I guess we're not using that. We're not currently using set game, that's fine. Needs full repaint. May as well refer to that by name in my notes. Okay. Now then, I do want to go ahead and change things, the way things are set up a little bit. We're just going to reuse this, that desktop over there. Okay, so I guess I'll just put my click events here on the canvas, right? Okay. I kind of want this to be up here. Width and height are kind of crucial. Click, on click. Handle piece movement. And add missing function. Okay. Sure. Okay, so if event.button, uh-oh. Let's see if we can see the documentation. It's an Annie. Oh, we need to import this from somewhere. Is that it? Fine. Dot. There we go. If event.button not equal primary? Wait. Hang on. Where's types? Uh-huh. Mouse button. There we go. I guess the other thing wasn't something I imported. Okay. Okay, if it's not primary, return. We don't care. If event dot... What was the other thing we need to check? Oh, right. We need to get the offset. Equals event dot offset. I thought that's what it was called. Whoa, really? Mouse event. Thought we just saw offset. Offset X, offset Y. So something's weird with our types. Look at mouse event. Extends event. So it doesn't do anything. Let's look at this. So they literally they just didn't include that. Okay. No, they might have included it in UI event. Let's see what UI event has. I see it has client X and Y. Is it because those aren't as portable? Detail view. My hope is diminishing that it's going to be here in the API anywhere. I'm not seeing anything about offsets. Oops. In fact, it's not anywhere inside this file here. Okay. Whew. Well, that's a bit frustrating because I need that. Why wouldn't it be there though? Let me first, I mean, I guess I can work without it, right? I can calculate that based on the client X and Y. If I need to. Maybe I'll just do that to avoid the type error, to be honest. Yeah, it's been around for a while. I don't know why it's not in the React stuff. No, it doesn't help. I'm just going to leave this alone for now. I'm going to leave the error in there and decide what to do later. That's just a frustration, honestly. Huh. Hopefully that works fine. Okay. The next thing we need to do is figure out what item sits there. I mean, the color, honestly, I was thinking about working with color, like, hey, is it black or is it white? But I realized that that doesn't really help that much because the collar, you know, it would tell me if it's a black piece or a white piece, potentially, but it won't tell me which piece it is. You know, I could click here and maybe the knight moves, or maybe the rook moves, or maybe this other pawn moves, you know, so that doesn't really help. I need more information than that, or different information at least. I think what I probably should do is track hitboxes in a separate data structure when I'm painting. So I really should just save this code for now come back to it. Is there anything I need right now? Yeah, this can all wait. Uh-huh. Stash save. Handle piece movement. Great, okay. Our stash is pretty clean right now. What we want to handle first then is actually setting up to where we can find the pieces. That's going to be the tricky part. So paint pieces, paint squares. What else are we painting? Pieces, squares, and debug symbols. Right, indices. So those are the only things we're painting. Let's put as much of the work in here as we can, I think. Or should we? Yeah, we should. Here's the piece position. Okay. Now what I want to do, let's see. Uh-huh. So it grabs the piece from the game. I guess I don't care about all this stuff. Okay. All right, yeah, right here, when I'm about to draw the image, I have all the information I need. All I really need to know is the size and location in the canvas. So this stuff I need to store elsewhere. Okay? And I just got a great idea that's going to help me here. Const sprite map rect equals source rect. Let's just call it something really generic. Okay. Des rect. Okay. Oh, that didn't do what I expected. Okay. Okay. Let's get rid of some clutter here. Okay, we're going to store those, and I think what we can do is, let's see if this works. I somehow don't think it will. No, you can't have two of those. Okay. Spread argument must either have a tuple type or be passed to a rest parameter. In other words, the last parameter. Okay. What would we call this? Draw description? Image? Yeah, we'll just call it draw location equals. Does this work? It does, great. Oh, you know what we could do? Just realized something. Let's cheat. Does that work? No. Why doesn't that work? Must either have a tuple type or be passed to a rest parameter. Huh. Well, it's a number, a list of numbers. I would expect it to work. Oops. I don't think this is going to work better. rid of the comma, it's confusing. No. Okay. Well, we tried. But for some reason, it does work, just not all the time. This is what I spend my time on. Okay, so let's look again. We have the image, and then the dx, the dy. Oh, this is not even the right overload. Oh, I think everything after this is just going to succeed. Okay. So it just basically it stops at the first error. Okay, so... Well, that's unfortunate. I think this is still slightly more legible than the alternative. Replace source with destination and do it everywhere on the line. There we go. No, thank you. I think this is going to be still a little bit more legible than it was before, even though it's a little bit tedious. We don't need this anymore. Okay, so sprite size ratio, scale factor, and the wind's blowing the trees outside. It makes it look like someone's standing by my door. It's a little bit creepy. Someone's standing by my office door. Okay, so... Right, our whole plan just got derailed by that. Our plan was, right, we need to store stuff somewhere else. We need a separate data structure, and let's go ahead and define it. Let's just do it right at the bottom here. Oh, if we do it at the bottom, it's going to be a merge conflict. Shoot. Okay, prepare for merge conflicts. You know what? Merge conflicts aren't that scary. Let's just do it here. Let's not worry about it. If I was on the team, it would matter more, but since I'm working on this project alone, it's fine. Right, so... Export type. What we want to store is the actual canvas destination, the actual rect. Okay, bounding box equals number. And I don't think, well, I say that. I think it's as easy to calculate whether we use width or height or whether we use a second XY coordinate. So that's fine. So this is super simple, actually. Okay. Now this is something that can be calculated. Paint piece at. Squares for each paint piece at the square. It's probably less efficient than necessary. Now we have our game, right? So I think what we want to do is we want to calculate this. How often? Well, I guess as often as we repaint. Yeah, I think that makes enough sense. Const bounding boxes, set bounding boxes, piece there's another word I'm searching for that I think is shorter. In a video game, when you get close enough to an object to interact with it, you've hit its bounding box. What are other terms used to describe a bounding box? Collision box, hit box. There we go, that's what I was looking for. Piece, hit boxes. I think people will understand that a little better, including me. I knew there was a better term for it. Okay. I don't remember where I was, but let's go back in our edit history. Here we are. Okay, so at this point, the destination rect is going to be a hitbox. What I really want to do is destroy the hitboxes and rebuild it. Now, I have the information to rebuild it here in Paint Piece, but this is not the place where I can suitably rebuild it. So I'm going to return the dest rect, which is the information we need. We're going to get rid of this because we don't rely on it anymore. Okay, we're going to give some space there. Yes, this is much easier to read, I think. This is all fine. This is going to return... Oh, what just happened? Okay. Return that. Okay, then where's this used? Yeah. Okay, we're going to map this, and that's going to be the new bounding box. Map. Okay, so set piece hitboxes to this. Right. And we're not using the existing hitboxes as a point of reference to construct the new one. We're just recalculating it from scratch. So we don't need to put this inside of a function call. We don't need to do set hitboxes and pass a function. We can just pass the result. I'm not liking this syntax because it's going to make me think that we need a function. Const new hitboxes equals set hitboxes new hitboxes. There we go. This makes it very clear what my intentions are. It's not going to make me wonder why I don't have a function. Yeah. Okay. Oh, you know what? It would help if I finish the thing. It's defined here equals use state bounding box. We're going to rename that. We're going to have this, and we're going to pass an empty list. Okay, F2 hitbox. Yeah, we're just going to hitbox. I don't know if I like that name there so much, but it's better to be consistent, I think. Now, why is this giving me problems? Must be imported using a type. Okay, we'll just put the word type in front of it then. Why didn't we get that right before? Okay, whatever. Okay. Now we have some type errors here, and I think I'm understanding a little bit. I think the issue is we didn't properly set the return type of these functions. So let's set the return type here. Oh! Oh, that's a problem. Yeah, this is, yeah, that's a problem. What I really want to do is skip this one. So I guess what I need to do is return an empty list. Oh, I don't like that so much. Let's return undefined, and then sort through it. Yeah, where we're calling it. Okay, map dot filter. Value. Let's call it V. Okay, shouldn't this give me the right type? Well, I've got to specify. It returns either hitbox or undefined. Okay. And I want to change this one as well just so it doesn't get confused. Basically, the difference here is, you know, it was saying we were returning just a list of numbers, but this is specifically a list of 4 numbers, so it has to type check. Honestly, TypeScript doesn't help us out that much with this, except when we're typing in literals. So this type still has some value above just a list, but it's a little bit quirky here when we're trying to deal with this kind of stuff. I don't like the way the map and the filter look with respect to each other. I'm going to try to fix that. That looks slightly better. Yeah, I'm not really a fan of that. Okay, but it's done. It type checks. We're good. Now we're storing hitboxes. Okay. I guess the most important thing here is to make sure that the app still works. Error messages. Okay, well, let's bring this over as well. Console. Okay, we have some errors, but could that be old errors? It could be. I kind of want to get rid of this stuff for now. As long as it still works, we're fine, right? Let's look for low colon. Yeah. I may want this back, but not right now. Because I want to be able to quickly check for errors here. So far, so good. Okay, so store hitboxes for each piece. Now I know we have a lot of white space in the hitbox. Like if you click here, for example, it's going to select the rook. If you click here, it's going to select the bishop. If you click here, it'll select the queen. If you click here, it's gonna select the king. And honestly, if you click here, it might still select the king. So there might be some challenges getting that exactly right, but sort of like with the pieces being offset, like we need to get an MVP first and like try to keep. I know I keep fiddling over stuff like minor stuff like this, but we just need to get things going before we get into too much detail with that. So have to cut some things out to make progress, right? Okay, that's not an issue right now. I don't need to be in assets, really. Source, though. Source is good. Now, the next thing I need to do is, okay, we're going to have that conflict, just like we said. Accept both changes. Done. Okay, I don't like that it's giving me an error still, but can I make this button go away, please? Okay, this has some issues too. I need to combine these. Honestly, I think what I can do is just get rid of one of them and then fix any errors that come up. Like this. Import. And we might be done at this point. Interesting. See, now the type of destination rect, I never noticed this before. Hitbox. This should work still. This is just 4. Yeah, it does work. So, for example, if I add another thing here, like if I add a 0 at the end, now it fails, you see? So, because I use this hitbox type explicitly here, it's going to let me know when I type in a literal, like, hey, you typed it in wrong. You have too many values. On the other hand, if I leave this off completely, it's like, oh, This is just like any other array of numbers. It doesn't know that it's a hitbox because it doesn't store the number of, it doesn't store the count in the type, right? So by the time it gets down to here, it's lost track of it. That's why you have to explicitly specify hitbox here, and then it knows. It doesn't. It's not like it knows to store the count. It just checks the count when you create it, and then by the time you get here, it remembers the type. It's still not storing the count of items, right? Probably not. But the type itself, the shape of the type, stores the count of items. That's a better way to say it. Yeah. Whereas with the number with the array of numbers, the shape of the type discards the count. But here we want exactly 4. So this is where the hitbox thing is useful, or we're specifying these out directly like that. 1, 2, 3, 4 is useful. Unfortunately, I'm not going to use it for source rect. I probably should just call it rect. Don't I have a rect type somewhere? Let's do tag I. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. So I really want the same type here. Whoa. I think instead of hitbox, I'm going to use rect. Rect. I could make an alias, but I don't think that's a good idea. Rect. 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 It's not imported. At this point, I'm not really worried about where it's coming from. Yeah, we're going to call it rect. We're leaving that alone. Other errors. We want them both to be rects, right? Oh! These aren't rects. Okay, we're going to undo that. We're not going to... You know what? I should do that. I really should. I'm going to have AI do that for me. That's what I'm going to do. Okay. Why is this changing colors? All right, let's look at all of our changes to make sure we didn't miss anything. Oh, that's so hard to see. Okay, I don't know. Oh, we're still merging. That's kind of frustrating. I don't want to merge a stash. That's better. Okay. Type hitbox move. That's fine. Type piece color. This is all new, which still needs to be done. Still needs to be written. Aspect ratio square MR. I don't know why this is new. Oh, because I move stuff around here. That's why. Hitbox. Okay, so I actually want to go ahead and finish out the feature and then go back and make that change. I'm going to put it in my notes, but I probably won't forget. Refactor hitbox into rect, better type, better name, better type shape. Okay. Now then, let's go ahead and handle things. Okay. Let's get where we can see everything we care about. We probably don't care about that stuff. We'll close it for now. Okay, we really only care as amount as this. Okay, so what I want to do is I need a function to tell me whether something is inside of something. Board can't... Oh, come on. Okay. At the bottom now, function... I just realized our list of hitboxes is not correct. We're we're going to cheat a little bit, and we're going to do a wrapper type for just now because we already have... Because we already planned to correct things, we're going to do a little bit of cheat. Maybe I'll do this. I'll cheat this way. Hitbox, replace. Okay. Hitbox. I just realized we need more than one thing. So hitbox, and we have the rec there. And then we have, let's call it hitbox underscore, well, let's just call it hitbox inner. When someone's reading the commit message, I want them to kind of, rather than having them understand the intention for me to do a new commit or to refactor, I want them to understand how hitbox inner fits in with hitbox. Like I want to make sure they understand things. Piece. I don't know what information to store here, but we can do it. Paint piece at. Okay, if we paint a piece, well, let's look here. Let's look at a high level. We have the index of the piece. We're trying to find a piece at that index. Okay. And then we grab the piece position and we pass that in, so that information is all available in the inner function actually. Piece position. Let's look under types again. The piece and its position in space, I guess. Its index. That could have been named better. I feel like that's enough information to move pieces around on the board. We know what kind of piece it is. We know where it is. Yeah. Eventually we're going to end up, yeah, if a piece is currently selected, we're going to end up doing things, especially, like maybe I'll add to piece position, is selected, yes or no, like true or false. Or is in hand, or something like that. Or maybe just, we'll see. Okay, so paint piece at. Okay, so paint piece already has the information we need. We're just going to call it piece position. Okay, there's our type. Oh. Whoa. Excuse me. Okay, so paint piece. Right, we're just going to return. Hang on. Whoa, what just happened? I hate that when it makes multiple changes at once when I ever hit undo. Let's change it to return a hitbox. We'll change that to return a hitbox and we'll deal with the consequences later. Okay, we were missing. Well. Oh, got to import it. Okay. There we go. Guest direct. Piece. Piece position. Here we go. There it is. Okay. Now then, where are we using this? Okay. Okay, so we just need to fix that type. Whoops. Use hitboxes. Here's my question. Are we actually using hitbox inner anywhere here? Yes, we are. We're using it here. And that's probably the only usage? Yes. Okay. Now that we've kind of sorted through the data a little bit and got a better understanding of the types we need. Okay. What do we need to get this function done? Sorry, just making a bookmark. I kind of lost track. Okay, the reason we got all that information is so we know which piece we're grabbing and where it's at. So, I do actually need to mark the piece to not render the same way as normal. Now, there are two ways I can think of to do this. One would be to... I think I should just... I don't think I should store stuff in the type. I think I should just make it another state object up here. Okay, so const... Let's define our state object first. What do we need in it? Is this really something we need to export? Probably not. So let's do this. Type selection state. Piece selection state equals is any selected Boolean? Usually going to be no. Selected. This is optional. Oh, hang on. Man, we're really starting to make it. Hang on. Oh, I got 2 alarms now. Double alarm. Okay. Option. Is it optional? Let's just do that for now. This is a real thing, right? Optional? Well, whatever. I think this might be something I just tend to use, like I tend to find on my own in TypeScript. I guess it's not a built-in. Is any selected Boolean selected? We need... do we need the hitbox, or do we just need the piece here? I think we just need the piece, but I think I'm going to store the hitbox for now, and we can simplify later. It's easier to reduce the amount of information we have there than to increase it. Well, not really true. You know, let's just store what we think we need. We'll change it when we need it. Yeah, we think we need just the piece position. That's enough to uniquely identify this piece. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is in the render function, if a piece is selected, we're not going to render it. Yes. So, paint piece. Okay, okay, oops, daisy. Okay, so what I want to do here is, actually I can do it here. We have the piece position. Every position is unique. A piece can never be in more than one position. So here's what we're going to do. Oh, I forgot. Let's go back where we were. Const piece selection state. We'll just call it piece selection. Set piece cell state. Use state piece selection. Okay. And we're going to have is any selected true. Oh, false rather. False. And then selected is undefined. Right, and this fails the type. Okay, I guess that works. I guess that means the same thing. Just leave that off. That's fine. Okay, manually setting it to undefined, I think we'll have the same behavior as that. So we have our piece selection state. Man, okay, there's so much to do here. There's so much to think through. Where was I? What we want to do here is we have our piece. Okay, it's defined at this point. Now, if piece selections, oh boy. Oh, it doesn't have that. Okay, let's just pass that in. Piece selected, that might be a good piece selection state. You know what? Let's rename it. Piece selected. That's a better name, I think. And then oops. Okay, that doesn't work. Don't know why it was failing on me. Okay, there we go. Anyway. Oh, we just lost things. Okay, piece. Okay. What happened here? Oh yeah, we need to pass in a new value. Piece selected. Great. Probably should have gone ahead and implemented this here. Okay, so if piece dot position equals piece selected what's going on here? It's spelled the same way. Jeez, okay. Dot, selected dot index. What do you mean you can't find it? It's right here. If sooner or later it's going to dawn on me what I'm getting at here. Is Annie selected? And it's kind of long. It's really long. Oh, geez. Lining those two up is really bad. I don't know why it's doing that by default. Okay. Cannot find name piece selected. It's right here. Let's just call it PP. Clearly it's not the name. Oh! What? I get it now. I get it now. Okay. Property index does not exist. It's called position. Okay, gosh. Tell you the truth, position might be the only thing I need from that piece. I might not care what type it is. Well, no, I will for other processes. For this one, I just care about the position. Okay, and we're no longer getting errors here. I don't know why that error was happening. It must be unrelated. Okay, great. Now I've forgotten something, but I think it's fine. Handled event. Okay. I do need to go soon, unfortunately, so this will be the end of our session, but that's okay. Well, like we've gotten to the point where we're ready to do the thing. That's where we've gotten. Like I've looked at this function about 5 different times and realized there was something else missing. So that's just how it goes. Now, how we handle piece movement. So what we're going to do is oh, there's a function I meant to create and never did down at the bottom here. That's why I opened a second thing. Yep, there's a function I'm in the middle of creating. Is for piece in no hitbox in may as well delete that for now. For hitbox in piece hitboxes, is it in or of? I think it's of. I'm not going to ask. I'm just going to assume this is right. And this isn't Rust, so we have to have parentheses there. Okay, it is time to go. But we're going to write this out at the very least. For hitbox of, oh yeah. If hitbox.piece dot no hitbox, we shouldn't call it that. We're going to call it x because I don't know what to call it. X.hitbox. We need parens. It's not Rust. Okay, so here's what we want to do. If is in point is inside, we have our point. Here we go, and we have our hitbox. Excuse me. If it's not inside, we want to continue. Yes, because we need to loop through all of them until we find the right one. Let targeted piece undefined. Should do it that way. Let's do it this way instead. Targeted piece equals x dot piece. Ooh, maybe we just need x. Yeah. Break. At the point that we find it, we're done. And then, if targeted piece is undefined, then we're done. Done. There we go. We can put that in one line, I think. Okay, this probably could be in a sub-function. This point is inside of add missing function declaration. Where to go? There it is. Great. And already it's having issues. Point is inside. What's the error here? Oh, it's of type void. Well, let's make it of type Boolean. How about that? There we go. You know. This is the part where AI can definitely help us. If the point... Okay. Check if the point is inside the provided 2D hitbox. The hitbox specifies the top left corner, the width, and the height. I don't care if it's right. That's something we can test later. Okay. And this is a really short variable name, so I'm not going to fool with it. There we go. We now have a function for clicking. We need to test this. I'm going to leave the throw in there. But yeah. So, I guess the result for today is if we click inside here, we get an error. We should get an error message. Reload. Huh. Well, we're not getting an error message. I don't know why. Oh. Okay, well, there's a lot to sort through. I don't even know. Like, I feel like this should be committed. But at the same time, it's just like... This is like 3 different features I'm running at the same... Or 3 different things I'm running at the same time, and none of them are completely done. So, I don't know. I think I'll wait about committing. Anyway, that's all we have time for today. Thank you for joining. I am Creative Craving, and I hope you'll come back soon. I'm going to be doing more development on this app, and eventually I'll be getting back to Satisfactory as well. So hang on for that, or look at some of the old streams if you want to see that. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe, and click the all button, because I don't upload that often, and you'll want to know the next time I upload. All right.